Dear audience, we will have the opportunity to discuss everything around fintech licensing and growth in Baltics for next 45 minutes. My name is Anna Agu. I'm a managing partner and co-founder at Lex Law Office. We are a law firm based in Estonia, advising the clients from fintech, iGaming, and Web3 industry regarding the legal matters and compliance since 2017. And today on the panel we have amazing experts, and I will give you a chance to introduce yourself, and we will do the kick-off question as well. What do you think? What is the current trend in the fintech ecosystem that you see in the Baltics? And we will start with amazing Anna.
Thank you very much. Happy to see all of you. We are in the Baltics and we're in Lithuania, which is we treat as a fintech hub of Europe. And we started like 10 years ago with fintech regulation here. And we started with electronic money institutions, payment institutions, neobanks, and now we're coming to crowdfunding and MiCA, crypto regulation. And the most current trend, I would say that the trust to the fintech, which was really hard at the beginning, and then we are serving from fintech space 30 million of European citizens from the country with 3 million population, and that means trust. So I really hope the other sectors, be it brokerage or crypto or consumer financing, will reach the same positive trends in acquiring new clients.
Thank you, Anna. So hello, my name is Evelina and I'm from the Bank of Lithuania. My role at the bank is to consult all the newcomers, to attract new reputable companies into our market. And if I think about the trend, so current trend, and this year is all about blockchain and crypto, I guess, and also AI.
Hi everyone, my name is Ugne. I'm from Enable Banking, where I run our efforts here in Lithuania via open banking infrastructure provider. And why I like Enable Banking is that we respect the ownership of the data of our clients and end users, so we are not storing anything on our site. And rather than building the vertical products ourselves, we act as an enabler for other companies to build innovative solutions there. And as for the trends, of course, one is that we see open banking moving from the concept to the production level use cases. Not only fintechs, but traditional financial institutions are starting to leverage that. And another one I think is instant payments, and that Baltics are in really good position in terms of that, quite a forerunner. So I think the industries like e-commerce or iGaming can be really in advanced position comparing to the markets which are just tapping into that.
Hello everybody, my name is Saulius Stacevičius. I represent one of the sponsors, SpaceUp. It's a technology services provider for the financial service providers, supposed to be the rising star. You will see a lot of good stuff in the future. And the second company I represent, the best professional association, say across Europe, is Fintech Baltics. It's really a very prominent, eminent institution that I was the founder, and we enjoyed the 8 years of operations. What might happen really, I would like to say that we reached the point when we're supposed to talk about the certain level of the business maturity. And I see a lot of interesting movements, and I would go for the, say, consolidation of the sector as the key. Consolidation rather through mergers and acquisitions than, you know, the natural growth. And I would like to touch upon this, discuss, you know, the situation. Yep, thank you.
Thank you so much for this amazing introductions. Let's move forward with the first part of our discussion, which is dedicated to the licensing. And I would like to ask you, Anna, can you provide an overview about the fintech market nowadays, in Lithuania especially? What is growing, what are the concerns, what are the challenges, and what we can see?
Yes, thank you. So I represent Fintech Hub, which is the association of licensed fintech in Lithuania. And in Lithuania, we have about 120 licenses. So we started this back like 8 years ago, and we see a lot of new companies, newcomers to the market. And now they evolved really. We see like the growth in terms of turnovers and clients in electronic money institutions for 4 times each year. And if we take the concept of the special purpose bank, which we have the unique concept again in Lithuania, none other European country had this concept as a smaller bank with a smaller capital, with 1 million of minimum capital requirements in comparison with a full bank, which is 5 million requirements. So we have 7 of them, and they show very good growth, more than 5% each year, more than 5 times, sorry, each year, and they really do a good competition to the traditional banking system. They are innovative. Their products and services are more approachable, and we talked about inclusion, so this is the space where inclusion works very well. And also crowdfunding platforms. Crowdfunding platforms grow by more than 40 times each year, and they in terms of projects and in terms of customers, and this is a good alternative to the investment. There is no big fees, and you may make decisions very quickly, be it a risky project or low risk project. The margin you can select yourself, either very high or very small. So that's the growth tendencies. We do not expect a lot of new names or startups into this market, but we really see the tremendous growth in consolidation of the services in this sector. So most probably M&A, as Saulo said, is going to happen within the next like 10 years, which is really normal to the young market. We have 10 years. After 10 years, normally someone succeeded, someone not, someone has to leave the market, someone has to buy another company. So that's how we see it. And of course, we know Revolut story, which is our superstar, and they have European license from Lithuania, and they serve a lot of clients from Lithuania. And now, like last week, they have announced they're gonna start a new product, which is mortgage loans, and they are gonna start testing this from Lithuania and then go to other European countries with a really low margin. And this is kind of frightening thing to the traditional banking system, which are doing mortgages for many years. And this is again the trend. And what I really love, all the Mika story and crypto blockchain sector. I really see the potential there. We cannot avoid it. A lot of people use this crypto sector, and me myself, I'm testing, and we have a good story also. Robinhood, a very big European, one of the biggest blockchain and investment company. They have entered the European market through Lithuania, so we have already the MiFID, it's brokerage license for them, and we're waiting for MiCA license. Hopefully they will be the first with MiCA license in Lithuania, and then other bigger companies also will achieve this goal. Naturally, some of the players will have to leave the market, but hopefully the biggest one, the most trustful, the most technology advanced will stay in the market, and we are going to enjoy using them.
Thank you so much for this overview. You know, every time when I come to Lithuania and I hear how you are evolving with which kind of speed, I'm speechless, because all innovation is over here. You are growing in terms of the market participants, you are growing in terms of the quality of the services, you are growing in terms of the approach of the regulators, and we will touch this topic during this panel. So my feedback is here, whoa. because even if we're talking about the Baltics countries, but even more beyond this, a lot of European representatives, I mean parliaments and regulators need to learn from Lithuania because you're doing very well. But let's move further with Evelina. My next question is to you. From the perspective point of view of the Central Bank of Lithuania, how the licensing regime is evolving in Lithuania, what are the current challenges you are facing as a regulator, and maybe you can give us an overview about your amazing newcomer program, Sandbox, which helps actually innovative fintechs to be ready for the licensing regime.
So we started our fintech strategy or journey together with other institutions in our jurisdiction. It always has been the joint efforts, and we started the fintech expansion strategy to increase competition in the market and to become such fintech hub of Europe instead of jurisdiction with 2.5 banks. But after this long journey and a lot of success stories, we still have room in our market where we see that we still do have main banks providing services with higher fees, and there is still room for new market participants. So we are also trying to diversify various services and not to remain only payment hub, but also add insurtech, wealthtech companies. And this year, of course, MiCA implementation. So maybe I could provide some statistics about
Yeah,
that.
it will be amazing for our audience.
So we haven't got our first license yet, but we have received 40 license applications from 29 firms. That means that firms need to apply twice. So we do see some, I would not say issues, but maybe learning. And currently 11 applications are under evaluation. So hopefully we will see new market participants from crypto soon, and we also have prolonged our implementation period until the end of this year. And the newcomer program, so with the fintech strategy, we took this approach that we are not only the regulator, but we are partner for market participants, and we provide a possibility to meet a regulator before actually applying for the license. So firms can come and present their business models, their teams, their management, source of capital, the main picture, and the program works as a partner, consultations, but also works as a filter. And we are also trying to say no in very early stages, so to save everybody's money and time.
Thank you so much for this overview. My next question is to you, Ugne. According to your experience, what are the biggest pitfalls fintech companies face during the licensing process or preparation for the licensing process? Can you please share your experience in this regard?
Yeah, I can share a few points on that. So I think first one, maybe not knowing the regulation inside out for the business that requires for your business. And there could be some challenger players that are aiming to solve an issue in the market, like helping to open accounts for foreigners more easy, but they didn't dive into the reason why that issue exists. It can be that there are high requirements for the AML, KYC, CTF, and that's is the exact reason why the issue exists, not the lack of skills of other market participants. Another one, I think, to understand your risk and evaluate. Everyone wants to serve the high risk sectors because there are high rewards, but also there's high responsibility coming with that. So you have to take into account that you'll have to build an extra security layer for those products considering compliant, and also perhaps you should be transparent with the FSA, what kind of risk customers you'll be wanting to serve, because then FSA or a regulator can expect you to have diversified portfolio, and if your tech is built for high risk, then it's going to be more complicated for the players who are operating in low risk. From our experience, also security is very important when you are licensing fintech. Then the requirements are also higher. So what helped for us was to implement ISO 27001 very early, and it helped with FSA, with EBA, and overall the financial environment. And the last one, I think, is the timeline. Don't underestimate your timeline, because if you are new to the licensing, maybe that your first draft of application won't work. So you just need to put time in there. Maybe also take into account that the regulator is not there to serve you, and it's not running a customer service business. So you have to do that work yourself, and also expect some blockers in the road. We had an issue with insurance in Finland. It was super hard to find the insurance broker for our PSD2 licenses, and the process was really long, and it was putting our speed on hold. So yeah, I think expect some surprises and be ready for that.
I absolutely love what you mentioned, because especially you started with the regulatory awareness, and then you provided the suggestions to have the transparent dialogue with your national authority, which is extremely important. And we see, once we are advising the clients, absolutely the same challenges and problems that company are maybe misleading or not evaluating enough. And also the point that you mentioned, that estimates your resources and plan your timeline, right? We sometimes see that there is a lack of understanding of the financial resources that actually will be needed during the upcoming 3-5 years, and it's also very crucial. Thank you so much for this. And my next question is to you, Šiaulius. What do you think? What are the biggest misconceptions that you hear from the fintechs in terms of cooperation with the iGaming sector?
No, it's not about the misconceptions, just we've been talking about the two different industries. One is like gaming is dopamine, driven, shining lights and stuff like these, emotions, while financial services is about some kind of stability, And this is not about the misconceptions, it's about the two different conceptions. And so let's learn the very simple way, Financial services, special payments, it's really about the scale, it's business of scale, Just not only to survive, but also to escape the risky zones. You need to be, too big to fail, something like that, And this is really about the growth of your business and the question how you really can grow, Say here in the Baltics and Lithuania, we reach the point when we really have the quite nice infrastructure. When we say that Lithuania is a fintech hub, it's not only 120 licenses, but also we enjoy the technology providers on that, on license, any kind of stuff, who the pays up in future. We enjoy very qualified, the lawyers, name it, the gas, Alex, or etc. And even stuff like accounting services, because reporting, for instance, calculation of the capital, of the initial capital or the minimal capital is so important. You can imagine that some jurisdictions you cannot get the companies that can provide you with this kind of services. And here it's really about the taking off, And then we have like the two situations. Now, when we say fintech, it's a part of conventional financial services here, but we need to be ahead of curve, say ahead of the incumbent banks in order, to survive. And this is about the innovation. But there are two ways. Innovation is like the natural innovation. You find the talents, you invent the technologies. Another way is very classical, it's via mergers and acquisitions. And when we say last year, for instance, there was information that Lithuanian Bank of Lithuania issued like the, say, 3 licenses, and something like 9 licenses were called back. But also we got like 9 permissions to acquire companies. It's a beginning of the mergers and acquisitions. That's it. Say this is about our sector, but when it comes about iGaming and say our sector, iGaming is quite important. But let's talk about say almost regulated in European Union. You know there is no directive, and when you say regulated in Malta, it doesn't mean regulated in Germany. But at least we have regulation, and maybe this problem can be, you know, how to say, solved in the future. But iGaming is concerned because of the say certain situations behind the innovation. You know, it drives innovations. You know, and then you really have your task. You're supposed to be compliant. No brainer. It's written on the wall. You know. But another one important issue, you need to be innovative in order, you know, to take off. Say to use this incremental growth, or just to be able to be good target for the mergers acquisitions to acquire something. And the main idea is really that there is interest. It's not only because of high income, you know. High income also means very high risk, you know. But in some areas, say even the gambling, it's something like clearly defined. The gambling was clearly defined 30 years ago, some kind of old daddy sitting in land casinos, misbehaving, drinking, you know, losing family money, and so on and so on. But when we talk about the gambling, it's a little bit different picture, you know. It's really like people, they go, they maybe spend small amounts, for sure there are addictions, it's a bad thing, but they've been dealing with the dopamine, some kind of very strange situation now. But they've been talking about is some kind of the players' experience. They're quite innovative when it comes to any kind of, you know, the situation. They need a specific methods, you know. For our industry, it's a good driver. It's not, doesn't mean that we're supposed to accept everything. No, we're supposed to be compliant. No brainer again, you know. But this some kind of the naturally, you know, tuned-ness, how to say, it could be good driver for our industry as well to innovate when it comes to the very, how to say, conventional methods of payments, fully compliant, and so on and so on. I would rather talk about any kind of misconceptions. Again, two very different industries. One is, say, dopamine-based, another one the trust-based, you know. And whether we can find a common, you know, the points, that's the questions. You know, for sure, for the dopamine-based, we, how to say, requested necessary because it's about the payments, about, you know, just having the blood circulation. But for us, it's some kind of, you know, the, how to say, challenger, some kind of enabler of some kind of innovation. I would rather put it this way, not about some kind of misunderstandings. It's a never-ending story, two different players that really can get something out of this partnership. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for this. And if we are moving forward with the compliance, we all understand that they are very different industries, but in terms of the compliance risks and key considerations when you are onboarding the, let's say, high-risk clients as a regulated financial institution, what are the key challenges you face, and what should those risk clients know to be in line with your risk appetite?
You know, we have the general compliance, like, again, I said that this industry could be regulated. They have their own compliance rules, and we need to understand their compliance rules, and the people, say, from the companies, they need to understand our compliance rules. No brainer, everything is clear. Another one is really like we have a lot of situations related to the, how to say it, some kind of juridical, you know, deficiencies, you know. You know that our sector is highly harmonized. It's a beauty, you know. We have directive, we have the common, say, the institutions, and we are so happy because we have the very clear rules, and that's the beauty of our sector. When it comes to the gaming or gambling, you know, it's really, despite that almost every each country has a quite sophisticated regulation, but they have no common background, they have no common rule. And it happens, say, that with the license in Malta, you cannot do business, for instance, in Germany, you know. And that's really, it seems to be, in Malta it's totally legal, in Germany it's illegal, and then when it comes to this kind of sophistication, this is really quite big hurdle in the wheels for the payment service providers. They're supposed to take this in consideration. And this is about risk management. As far as you understand this kind of issues, as far as you understand the industry risk, you really can create a risk mitigation plan. The key is really just, first of all, you're supposed to understand, you're supposed to calculate all your risk, and reverse only to dive deeply into the smoothie waters of the gambling ocean. Yeah.
I like how you name it. Thank you so much for this. My next question is to you, Evelina. What is the, let's say, the key compliance expectation regulators have in terms of the, let's say, fintechs, regulated financial institutions, when they are dealing with the high-risk clients and, for example, with the gambling industry?
The rules are the same for all new market participants, and we do not separate, and everything's started from the top, from the source of capital, your management team, your reputation and experience. And so you need to work on your reputation, and in finance we do not have second chances. So the reputation and experience really important. And later comes risk mitigation systems, and you need to come to the license when you are really prepared. I'm keep repeating to the market participants that licensing is not an educational process. You need to come prepared, and just a few questions can happen during these rounds. And for that, you also need to find help, and I would recommend the local help. And if you, between choosing the jurisdiction, and for us in Lithuania, what is really important, we are asking market participants why they have chosen Lithuania, and there should be the quite strong case. So we are, I would recommend to come with local partners, with local lawyer firms, and come when you are really, really prepared.
You know, the point that you mentioned, we touched this topic during the morning discussion when we had the panel about the Web3, and there was also one of the discussion points regarding the connection with the particular country, or double licensing or jurisdictional shopping, because it's not only for the, let's say, crypto industry right now, but also having said the same issues for other fintechs. And you know, this interesting term that our Estonian regulator is using, it's about how the company is having the majority interest in the particular country. And can you explain if there is a majority interest? And that doesn't mean only the partners and employees in the particular country, but also the clients from this country, and the alignment with the economic system of this country. So it's a broader, and sometimes companies are like missing this point, and we as a lawyer are trying to pay maximum attention to this, that it's not enough that you would like to be regulated in this particular country. You need to have the strong connection with this country to be accepted by the regulator, which means that you are part of the ecosystem, right? And there, when Anna, you as an association representative, is super important, and you can see and advise those companies how to, let's say, dive into new ecosystem if they are coming abroad. And maybe in this regard, can you share what are the, let's say, biggest challenges that the newcomers are facing when they are entering the fintech market in Lithuania?
Yes, thank you. Indeed, the ecosystem is very important, because you have the connections, you have the understanding of the market, and you can find partners very quickly, and you can find the information. What the strength of the association is that we advocate for the interest of our clients. Therefore, you are not the warrior one in the field. when we are like a whole army, we have the muscles and we can, be strong together. And when we come to association, we are no longer the competitors. We are the partners. And what we do in association, yes, we do lobbying, and we see that we do lobbying not only in Lithuania but also to the EU regulators, and we see the more and more importance to do at the European level. And we see that even for the European regulators, be it a European Banking Authority or ESMA, they are really interested to hear what are the business models, what are the struggles or the challenges in the market, and how they can help. Because in many cases, I think Evelina will agree that the regulator doesn't have the knowledge, in the practical activities. This is like, yes, support from the screen. The challenge is there when you come into the market is new. It's like in the baby stage, and even the market participants not always know the regulations, the complexity of the regulations. They doesn't know where to find the partners, what partners are trustful. That's why we are an association. We do a lot of events, we do networking, we do introduce parties one to another. And even when the investors come to Lithuania, they usually come to the association because we know who is keen to sell the company, who is keen to attract new investments. In a way, we're helping our market to grow even more. And in my cases, I also am in the board of one of the licensed fintech, and I see how much this works for the company, especially like 80% of our fintechs are owned by foreign investors. And there is a struggle in between the local team and the founder, to convince that they have to invest into compliance, or they have to invest into more, not business related, but oversight. And hear how we as an association come and speak to them. So that's, I think, the main point.
Thank you so much for this, and I think that it's really important. Today during the panel there was also, I do some kind of reflection to the previous panels, but it's suiting very well. So there was a discussion how, let's say, small and medium enterprises can fit into the, let's say, strongly regulated financial market, and one of the suggestions was like actually to participate of association because you can save the resources. Because if you do have this approach of not seeing your competitors as competitors only, but also as partners, as a business in crime, but not in crime and really, yes, then you can achieve a lot. Yeah.
Just one small comment. I just reminded. There was some small fintech, and we are speaking about what is the team of your compliance, and they said we have less, but you as association are our compliance team. So that was quite funny to hear.
Yeah, and my next question is to you, Ugne. Maybe you can share, let's say, the best practices in terms of the compliance which are emerging for the fintechs who are especially working with the iGaming sector. So what do you see as a service provider?
So from open banking angle, I see that account information services are a really great source for the compliance practices, as you receive real-time bank account information, and you can really add on the due diligence for KYT, and dive into the transaction histories, see the money movements on the higher level, and we've seen this in practice as well with our partner Credits. They leverage open banking API, and they serve multiple operators in iGaming already, and provides the categorized data for affordability, for source of funds, responsible gambling, Yeah, so it's really smoothening the player experience because they are submitting the data through API, no manual uploads of payslips or utility bills, and then for operators it's less risk because they receive the information from a regulated source, and also it's more efficient in this way. You don't need to chase those documents. That's, yeah.
Thank you so much. Evelina, you wanted to comment or no? No? Okay. Okay. Let's move forward with the growth and scaling. Okay, it's working. Yeah. If we are talking about the potential growth of the fintechs who have the ambition to scale and work with the iGaming sector in advance, as well, what are the key successful strategies they may have? Maybe Ugne, you can comment on this, and maybe Shaulus, you can add.
Yeah, so I can start. So I think, yeah, compliance risk is the key. So put the processes for that without cutting the corners. Find the right partners that know the iGaming industry because you can't do everything by yourself. Think consider the multiple payment methods so your users can pay in the preferred way, and take into account that some markets have really strong local methods that are key. And yeah, I think you need to build a robust solution first and then scale.
Okay, good. Let's run that way. Say, as I said, what we really been dealing with. Say, we're selling the trust and we're selling security, and compliance, risk management is a part of this. Say, trust and security. Nothing to discuss. It's a no-brainer. It's a part of our business. But when it comes to scalability, say again, it's a very tricky situation. That say now when we're talking about say fintech, it's indeed licensed fintech and industries around licensed fintech. This is the part of conventional, so financial services, and we have like now the two types of the financial service providers, old style, mainly, say the brick and mortar or particular jurisdiction based. They enjoy some kind of inherited situations, then it's so creative. And when it comes to, let's call it fintech, we have, say, the totally online, no jurisdiction barriers, and very innovative. In order to sustain, in order to be ahead of curve, ahead of, say, the incumbent players, you need to be innovative. And then, say you have like again, two options. The innovation really requires for a lot of resources. You really need to find the ways how to finance your journey, Because again, it's a part of the financial services, the part of the capital market games. The one issue, we have good examples. See, Wise, it's a success story. I was surprised that enterprise value of Wise is like 6 billion British pounds. Enterprise value of Western Union is also 6 billion British pounds, both listed on the London exchange that I rely on GDP. But when it comes to the market value, the market value of Western Union is also 6 billion. The market value of Wise is 13 billion. It's a difference. That's a great success story. But on the other hand, there is a room for the mergers and acquisitions. We're going to see the new rising stars. We're going to see the new champions, and how those will be just from our sector, for sure. Some will succeed as a Wise, some will be just acquired, will create new ventures, and so on and so on. But innovation, it's really like in the blood of our industry. We have like the two pillars. When it comes to risk management, compliance, this is a pillar for security, for feeling of being secure, when it comes to growth, because we're supposed to be in this mood. We're supposed to have an unstoppable growth in order to survive. This is about innovation. And the state of the art is really how to combine, how to be compliant, and how to be innovative, That's why, we call this industries quite sophisticated, with a high level of sophistication. You need to be educated with the brains, with the energy, with everything. But at the same time, you're supposed to be also, aware of any kind of risk. It's a good industry, that's some kind of very addictive, how they say. Some people, they go, they play, they drink, but some people, they go and they work for the regulated financial services industry. Some kind of addiction, by the way.
Yeah, talking about the addictions, the previous masterclass we had, you need to have a lot of motivation to stay with your addiction. Yeah. Okay, let's move forward with you, Evelina. Which initiatives, in addition that we mentioned before, Lithuanian Central Bank is supporting to help innovative fintechs to launch and grow in Lithuania?
So we are open regulator, and we would expect that market participants also bring their issues, their challenges to us. And I would not say that regulator lacks some, I don't know, knowledge, but maybe there is a lack of communication sometime, or this also should be like two-way street, and we are constantly adding new regulations like MiCA, DORA, and like various new forms of regulation. But recently, the new wave of deregulation is coming into Europe. So our regulators are collecting all the issues from market participants where we have too much of regulation or some unlogic rules. And another trend we are looking for also for the scale, as Solus mentioned, we are looking for companies which can scale and provide payment services or other kind of services. And mitigate the risk. Of course, the priority is for low-risk companies like marketplaces, and we already have adapt some regulation for such new modern business models. So I would just encourage companies to be brave, present their challenges, because we know that only constant thing is change. So we need to be flexible and have a good communication.
I like that. I'm really very thankful for this move, for the exception of the specific rules for the marketplaces, the creation like closed loop. That's a good achievement. Congratulations and many thanks.
Okay, we are running out of time and some closing remarks, and I would like to ask one question from all of you. If the Baltics want to lead as a hub for the compliant fintech, what one improvement would you prioritize?
Well, it's really hard to find one, but I would say is just we had this session before. It's fearless, just to be brave enough to introduce a product, to be brave enough to convince that your product is compliant, and to be brave enough to speak with regulator and convince the regulator that your product is compliant, and also the same to the audience, to the customers, to the partners. So this is about braveness. We are small, but we are very brave.
I would. I thought I would say collaboration, but now I changed my mind. So maybe I would encourage you to be creative and bring new models, new ideas, because we are regulators, but the innovations and new services should come from your side. So maybe more creativeness.
Then I can tell more about collaboration and transparency. I think between the ecosystem players and the regulators, in the ideal scenario, the instructions and the best practices could be shared with the market players. From our experience with DORA when it came into the place, and we were reporting to Finnish FSA, and we didn't find the EBA guidelines supportive enough on the practical implementation. And I think that if those instructions would be clarified, then you could really save thousands of hours of work on the both sides. And then you can, how Baltics could stand out if you have a really good regulated landscape for the home market, then the players can take this expertise out and grow and succeed in a compliant way.
Good, and I see that all three countries, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, as some kind of partners. We're too small to compete, to create situations for any kind of arbitrage. You know, success of Latvia, success of Lithuania, success of Estonia, success of Latvia, Lithuania, also. You know, gonna see a lot of collaborations in the future. And what drives, we're supposed to keep this going. You know, because we are, you know, how to say, hungry. We want to participate. We want to be invited to the party. You know, not only the guys from Switzerland and Luxembourg who are as good as they are, you know. And this is really what drives us, you know. We're very keen on, you know, reaching the high points. Sometimes we're arrogant, sometimes a little bit crazy, but it gives us power, you know, just to reach the very high heights. What happened here in the Baltic countries, not only Lithuania, but somewhere in Latvia, Estonia, it's a miracle. We appeared out of the woods, you know. Even I remember I was working for investment banking part, and we say had cooperation with Nomura. It's one of the biggest international investment banks. In the first, say there some kind of the document on the Lithuanian Baltic markets was really out of the woods. We appeared out of nowhere. We appeared out of the woods, and it took 30 years to reach such heights. You know, that's a miracle. We should congratulate ourselves. You know, round of applause for ourselves. You know.
I guess it was the best summary point of the day, and I'm so thankful for this amazing discussion. Maybe we can take some questions if we do have some minutes. Any questions from the audience? No. Okay. Then I'm super thankful for this great discussion, and I'll give a round of applause to amazing experts.